Uno, via.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends, welcome to this digital workshop on civil society's perspective for food security. My name is Hamid Bilali. I am a researcher at the Department of Sustainable Agriculture, Food and Rural Development of CIHEAM, Mediterranean Agronomic Institute of Bari. I'm also a member of the Euro-Mediterranean expert group of MedSpring project. MedSpring project, Mediterranean Science Policy Research and Innovation Gateway, is a project that is funded by the European Union, and it aims at strengthening the Euro-Mediterranean cooperation, research and innovation.
Stay on that page. We're going to send you again another invitation. Check in, like, really in a minute, on the bottom right of the screen.
Sorry, Hamid. Go on. Sorry.
In this hangout. Then keep on pressing OK.
Sorry, we have some technical problems. You were solved, so we can go on. So I was saying that MedSpring, Mediterranean Science Policy Research and Innovation Gateway, is a project that is funded by the European Union, and the main aim of the project is to strengthen the Euro-Mediterranean cooperation on research and innovation in key societal challenges: resource efficiency, in particular water, high quality affordable food, and energy. Today we are specifically here gathered to talk about the second societal challenge, which is food. So in particular, before inviting the experts that were invited for this digital workshop, and that I would like to thank very much for accepting our invitation, I would like to give you some insight, to provide some insights about the concept of food security, and of course this insight that we will build on during the workshop, and they will help us and guide us during our discussion. First of all, what is defined as food security. So the most used definition of food security is that of the declaration of the World Summit on Food Security of FAO, and that states that food security exists when all people at all times have physical, social, but also economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food to meet their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. It is widely accepted that from this definition are identified 4 pillars of food security. Food, first of all, food availability. Second, food accessibility. That means physical but also economic accessibility. Food utilization, that is based on, of course, good knowledge about food and nutrition, and also the stability of food availability, accessibility, and also utilization. I think that it is high time to start our digital workshop, so I would like to invite Dr. Cinzia Scaffidi to introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Cinzia Scaffidi. I'm based in Italy, in the northwest. I am the director of the Slow Food Study Center, which means the study center of the Slow Food Association, and I just wanted to focus the point that Slow Food is an international association based in Italy, but working all over the world in more than 150 countries and with more than 100,000 members. So we do not have a an Italian vision, but we are an international association. That's it.
Thank you very much for this information about yourself, and also Slow Food Organization. So here, in fact, we have invited experts and stakeholders from different sectors of the spectrum of stakeholders, but also with different backgrounds. And this was done, first of all, because the topics that we would like to discuss today are different, but also because we are convinced that food security is a complex issue, because it is a multi-dimensional issue that should be addressed not only at national level, but also at territorial, regional level, and household and individual level. And also that we are also convinced that there is no one-size-fits-all and ready-to-use solution to address the problem of food security in all countries. So I seize this opportunity to ask Dr. Scaffidi about how do you see the state of play and the state of the art regarding food security in Italy? You said at the beginning that your organization is not working only in Italy, but we would like to have some insights about Italy and northern part of the Mediterranean, and with relation to food security.
Yes, I think there is a kind of paradox that we could focus, starting exactly from the definition you have given before. Very often when I present my association, I describe what we are doing, which kind of situation we normally deal with, talking about food and the food-related issues, which are so many, which are economics, public health, environmental, food right and justice, and educational and cultural, and protection of the soil and territories. Very often the first question which is raised by the audience is, oh yes, you're right, but it is not that easy to eat in a correct way. In our big cities, we do not have, we cannot really choose to eat organic or to eat sustainable or to eat local or seasonal. We have to do to deal with what the supermarkets propose us. So probably we should start reflecting on the situation of food security even in the rich countries, because if the food security is what you have said before, so the possibility for all people to have adequate food in cultural, nutritional, and quantity terms, we of course we have quantity, that's for sure, and we probably have even more than enough, but I'm not sure that we can always access to the best food we should eat. So we tend to think that food security is a matter of having or not something to eat, and we have to understand very well what food security really is, because in this moment a lot of epidemic in terms of public health depends on the way people are eating, and this is not a matter of how far from how developed the countries are.
I fully agree with you. In fact, you provided us with different insights regarding the different issues that are related to food, but also what you said, that about the fact that, of course, food security is broader than having, for example, enough kilocalories per day, because it's about quality, it's about, public health. That's why, in fact, food security is very often linked to the concept also of nutrition. So that is very important, and also to public health, obesity, overweight, and all non-communicable diseases that we have nowadays, for example, cardiovascular diseases in developed countries. So I fully agree, but what I
May I add something?
yes,
May I
please.
just add one thing? We should try constantly to link the idea of food security, which is a need, with the idea of food sovereignty, which is a right. So they are not two different issues, and I think that our governments should keep an eye on it, and both are not sanctionable deniement, but still policies are there for making the good for the
What you have just said is confirm again that food security is, of course, not only nutritional issue, but also is social issue, is cultural issue, is economic issue, and in fact, with reference to the concept of food sovereignty and also the right to food and the access to food, I fully agree with you. That this should be linked, but. We would like, also to know, but because it seems that one of the problems for which we have, some problems, some issues of food security, also of food insecurity in this case, also in developed countries, is that we don't have, the effective policies in order to address all issues. Holistic policies, integrated policies that take into consideration the different dimension of food. So I would like to know if, as an international organization, as a civil society organization, you are involved in framing food policies, food policy at the level of Europe or in other regions of the world, and also the approaches that you are using, to frame effective and sustainable food policies.
Yes, we participated to the last consultation before the last version of the European reform of agriculture, food policies, agricultural policies. The point is exactly in this definition. We should, as much as possible, we should stay far from the definition of agricultural policies, and we should go towards the definition of food policies. Food policies, they do not actually exist by the moment, but they are our utopia, meaning that politics should consider what a produce of agriculture has done before getting to the market. If it is a high quality in a complex meaning, it is a quality product. It has done so many other things before getting to the market, which is protecting fertility, protecting waters, helping the people to stay in a place, keeping the territories defended, but also by the erosion or by whatever can happen, because the majority of what we call landscape is actually a rural landscape, which will be completely destroyed if farmers go away. So if you keep cultivating potatoes in a mountain, you will protect the mountain, and this is something that should be considered when you understand how complex can be the idea of quality. And so and it has maintained a culture in its place. It has maintained words and abilities of art crafts and so many other things, and tourism, because landscape will bring tourism in the places which are where agriculture has taken care of those areas. So once it arrives there, it will have a price, and the price will be given by the normal situation of the market. But all the subsidies have to consider what it has done before. This is why we cannot be happy with the new reform of agricultural politics in Europe, that still, even if it has been it is better than before, let's say, but still it has the majority of the subsidies given on a base of how big is the farm and not which kind of agriculture it
Going back to the way, food policy between brackets, because as you say, there are no such a thing as food policy in reality. You pointed out the fact that in most countries, especially in Europe, there is so much focus on food production, so agriculture, instead of focusing also on the other phases, for example, of the food chain. And there is too much maybe relevance and importance that is given to farmers in framing food policy, probably because I think this is what you mean, because other stakeholders also should be involved, and also you mentioned the links between food policy and rural development policy. Could you provide us with more insight regarding that? And for example, what are your initiatives at local, regional level, especially territorial level, in order to address these issues and to make more effective, let's say, strategies for addressing food security?
Yes, I would like to mention two main two of our projects which are really fitting with all we are saying now. As you said before, we cannot have a one-size-fits-all solution, so we have to tailorize. We have more or less the same problem everywhere, but we cannot use the same solution everywhere. So this is something that should make us very careful. But we have two main projects. One is called the Slow Food Procedure, which is a project which starts with a catalog, which is the arc of taste, and in which are listed all the products which are all unfortunately already disappeared or in danger of disappearing. And when there are the conditions locally to restart or reinforce that production, we help, and we organize in terms of first of all production, but normally people locally know has to produce, but they have to link together, they have to write down the rules for production in order to enter in the same project. And this is very important for local economies, and it has given very interesting result for about the price of the product, but also about the number of people working in that production, about the fact that the family will not leave from the place, from the rural place, because they find a way to make their lives in restarting that production. And this is happening in at least 400 cases all over Italy and abroad. So what happened is that rediscover, first of all, locally, a product that is part of a culture means so many things in terms of what we have said before, but also in terms of rural development. If we consider rural development as not an idea of abandoning agriculture to make money in some other way, but in terms of really create welfare at many levels in a place. And the other project is the one of the 10,000 gardens in Africa. We started from a kind of request from schools, families, villages, for creating gardens of vegetable in order to provide a first step of food security for the ones who participate in the garden, but also to create a little surplus to be sold in the local markets. Of course, this is a very important step in terms of rural development because it rebuilt a culture of farming in a good way, of eating products that are part of their culture, of their work, labor of every day. So the idea that progress is not necessarily the industrial packaged food that you can buy wherever, but is an unindustrial, non-packaged, and cultural, meaningful food that you can grow yourself and be proud of it.
From what you said, and you know very well that these two projects are very successful because Slow Food is considered as one of the leading non-governmental organizations in the world dealing with food. So I would like to, and I think that also other people that are following this digital workshop are interested in knowing more about the governance of these initiatives. What explain their success? What are the elements? What are the lessons that we can learn from these initiatives, and how we can how these lessons can be useful also for other contexts and other organizations in order to deal with the issue of food?
Well, we are quite unusual as an NGO. We're not the classic NGO which has technicians or professional that can be exported. We normally work with the communities, and we offer the frame. We offer the frame of the project. We offer some training tool like manuals or books or sometimes comics that can explain how to work, and as you imagine, the point is that in how many languages you have to translate something in order to be useful in Africa, and also how many people you have to train in order they can simply tell it, because is not sure that everybody can read whatever language it is, but you must be able to read. So in any case, you have people that can tell things. But we work a lot with schools and of every level. So very small kids, but also high school and other and college. So students will also pacify themselves with the idea of agriculture, which is again something that they have to reconquest. They have to. It is not easy in Europe, but it also in Africa it is not so immediate that you connect the idea of development with the idea of agriculture. If you are 15 and your dream is to go and work in front of a computer in a big city. So
Hello?
Hello? So the point is...
Hello?
Yes?
Yes, welcome. I would like to welcome Professor Saadia Zrira from the Institute of Agronomy and Animal Medicine. Just a moment, because I would like now to get also your insights regarding food security in Morocco. But just a moment, I will invite you now for, I will give you the floor.
Okay.
So, Dr.
And the second point of your question is that we tend to work with the communities, with the local community, with what we call the food communities, again, in order to involve different actors, researchers, cooks, farmers, families, teachers. And so in this way, we make clear for all that food is a question of interdependence and of interdisciplinarity. So you need a lot of competencies, a lot of visions, and also a lot of steps. And when you decide to produce food, you need the help of the universities, of the seed banks, of the farmers, of the one who deals with water, and so on, and the chefs, of course, the cooks. So I think this is one of the key of success, that the participatory mood and the idea that development can be really something that starts from local and then can expand wherever.
You say that food security is an issue that we should consider, of course, interdependence, but also we should, we have interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary teams. And in fact, for this reason, we have also Professor Saadia from the Institute of Agronomy and Animal Medicine. I would like, first of all, to invite Professor Zrira to introduce herself and also the activities that are carried out by the Institute of Agronomy and Animal Medicine as regards to food security issue in Morocco.
Thank you very much. And
oops.
It seems that we have some small technical problems. I hope that we will manage to solve them as soon as possible. But anyway, meanwhile, we can continue our discussion with Dr. Cinzia Scaffidi. This is another issue that I would like, to ask you, because I was just looking and I saw that the event of Terra Madre, that you will organize. And this is also an important event because there are participants from, the civil society, but also, for example, women, so smallholders, small, farmers. So could you explain us what is Terra Madre and in which way you managed to make, Terra Madre an open,
yes.
forum? Sorry, it seems that Professor Saadia is back. So if you hear me, my question was about, first of all, we would like to know more about you. So if you can introduce yourself, but also to tell us something about what are the activities that have been carried out by the Institute of Agronomy and Animal Medicine for achieving food security in Morocco, especially that we know that in Morocco there is, for example, the program of Green Morocco that is very important, and one of the objectives of that program is to achieve food security in the kingdom. So, Professor Zrira, the floor is yours, please. We don't, it seems that we don't hear Professor. Yes, here we are. Please.
yeah, my name is Saadia Zrira. I am professor at the hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah. Okay, I am teacher and researcher at the Agronomique and Vétérinaire Institute. Which is, my major is food industry, and I spent more than 25 years in teaching food chemistry and research focusing on medicinal plants and local products, agricultural products. So we are, we have many, specialties at the Agronomic and Veterinary Institute. And we have a technician and engineer, and also some PhD, also in agriculture. And I'm also president of an NGO, a national NGO called Acid for Sustainable Development. This NGO is, was created in 2004, and also is trying to fight poverty and to help mainly women in the rural area in order to improve their income through access to resources. And also regarding the you talked about the Moroccan Green Plan, which was launched in 2008. And the objective of this program is to enhance the productivity and through the achievement of the MDO in terms of access to food and drinking water. This program or strategy is based on two pillars, Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. And the Pillar 1 concerns the integrated modern agriculture, leading with big farmers to increase productivity through best practices and value chain valorization. The second pillar is called Pillar 2, and is dealing with small farmers, and it's called social agriculture. And the objective of this program, the second pillar, is to help small farmers to have access to the market and to the inputs. And also the program tried to organize them into cooperatives and to implement the aggregation system model. This model is new, and this model tried to help small farmers mainly in marketing their products.
Thank you very much for this useful information and insights regarding the situation in Morocco. But besides this opportunity, also to ask you about your evaluation of the food security in status in Morocco. Could you tell us something about that?
About what?
So you think that food security has been achieved in Morocco? What is the state of the art? What are the main challenges that are still to be addressed in this respect?
But in Morocco, are you hearing?
Yes. Well, technology is a tool, but a tool that can create sometimes some problems, even if it's supposed to solve problems. So,
hello?
You are back. Welcome back.
I am back, yeah.
Could you tell us something
I'm
about
sorry.
Morocco?
I don't think so. In Morocco we have a lot of poverty. We have problem of poverty and illiteracy. Say that
Yes.
I don't know if you hear me. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. It's not we still have a lot of things to do in order to achieve food security. And the government of Morocco launched many programs in order to help the civil society to fight poverty and to ensure food security. And the main program and the main strategy is the one called the Human Initiative for National Initiative for Human Development, which was launched in 2005.
Yes.
Are you hearing me?
Could you provide us with some information about this initiative and how it is supposed to...
Of course.
Security in Morocco?
It is national programs which aims to fight the poverty through the mechanisms that help local communities organized into cooperatives to valorize the local know-how and doing business in order to have access to markets and to raise revenue. Of course, in Morocco we have many NGOs. I think like 90,000 of NGOs that working in the field, and they are trying to help local population in a rural area and many area where really poverty is increasing. And this initiative came to help NGOs to give them money to implement many projects in different area, mainly the poor area, the poor region in Morocco. And in this way, there are NGOs try to implement generating what we call generating income projects that help population and mainly rural women to generate revenue. And in this way, women will have money to buy food and to have better condition of life.
Let's go back, to talk about the governance of the food policy, and especially I would like to hear again Dr. Cinzia Scaffidi, because we were talking about Terra Madre, and it is an event that gather, of course, different civil society organizations, but especially smallholders. But at the same time, I take this opportunity after Cinzia to ask also Professor Zrira about the second pillar of Morocco's Green Plan. But first, let's hear about Terra Madre.
Well, Terra Madre is it is 10 years now. It is the fifth time, and the sixth meeting, and it is the 10 years that we have organized it for the first time. The idea has been since the beginning to gather together food communities that I already have explained what they are, from all over the world, in order to create a moment and space in which food communities can exchange ideas, solutions, problems, and evaluation of which kind of opportunities and problems they can be the spokesperson for. And it has been really immediately successful, and also they meet every other year in Turin, but which of course it means also a huge organizational part before, but let's stay on the meeting. And the interesting part of it is that even between the two official world meetings, there are so many local Terra Madre going on in the various nations and regions. So it has been, it becomes a true network that is working together, and it is working in the only way networks can work, which is in a peer mode. So all the various actors of the food communities bring their support, their contribution to the reflection and the development of the ideas, because they succeed in dialoguing, staying on peer levels. Chefs, farmers, fishermen, researchers, and so on. It is important to understand what Professor Saadia were saying before. The links between poverty or richness and food insecurity are so many and so correlated. It is not, well, we are tempted to simplify, saying, okay, poor people is insecure, rich people is secure, but first of all, this is not true. As I said before, in the rich countries, the level of insecurities can be high, it can be hidden, much more hidden than in the poor countries, but also the the way in which we waste food, for example, thanks to our better level of economies, is not an accident, and it is one of the reasons why we create hunger somewhere else. We create food insecurity somewhere else. We waste energies, we waste common goods which are not only ours, but they belongs also to the other countries, the ones that are food insecure. So we have to reflect on the fact that the mainstream way of food production, distribution, and consume is actually also one of the cause of the food insecurity at home and far from home.
Thank you. In fact, I would like also to start from what you said about the connections and linkages between food poverty and food insecurity. And I repeat again my question to Professor Zrira about the situation in Morocco, and especially the second pillar of the Green Morocco's plan, that is dealing with the so-called family agriculture, so smallholders, because it can seem strange, but there are some statistics that show that food insecurity is higher in rural areas. And especially also what can be, and from your activities, the role that can be played by women in addressing the problem of food insecurity. Professor Zrira, do you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I'm hearing you. You know that the second pillar is mainly, concern mainly rural area, I mean, and mainly poor farmers, and sometimes it's also rural women, because in many area you will find many, like local products, like medicinal plant, like olive oil and so on, argan oil. And in Morocco, we noticed this last years that women, and even men, they are organized in many female cooperatives or man cooperatives, and they try by themselves, because they have already the know-how and the tradition to how to valorize this products. And the pillar 2 came to help them to develop these products. Like, for example, he tried to help this population to organize into cooperative to give them more power, and also he tried to empower them to reach many training, many capacity building in many field. In the field of how to manage their cooperatives, how to process. They were also trained on how to on the quality management, and how to the packaging, the selling, everything. And in this way, we are glad to see many products which are well presented, well packed, and with very good quality. And with this, this strategy, we have many groupments, many female cooperatives. They are earning a lot of money. Even now, they are selling abroad. I mean, they are going to many fairs in the Paris, in German, and in many areas. And the strategy of the Moroccan Green Plan is to implement the aggregator. The aggregator is the one who will give these women all the inputs, or the man, and also the.
Professor Zrira, are you still there? It seems. How
to how to sell their products, because by selling their products, they will have a revenue, stable revenue, and they will be able to find food for themselves and for their children. And I think this is very important in the Moroccan Green Plan. This is more important. It's not important in production. I mean in volume and value, but it's very important at local scale. It's very important for population because we have many population, people with who suffer from poverty in many regions in the mountain. And I think the second pillar will help to find solution for this population.
But Professor Zrira, we have been talking about the Green Morocco plan, but basically we have been talking about agriculture, about agricultural policy. But there is, I would like to ask one question. Can we talk about
yes?
Is there any food policy in Morocco? Is there anything that we can
food policy in Morocco?
Apart from agriculture, that is different from agricultural policy and from poverty reduction.
At my sense, I think food policy is related to agriculture. I don't understand your question because I mean in Morocco there is another plan, like I think fish plan and other plan, that's also are dealing with food security, of course. Professor, but the one we know, yes.
What I mean is that food is different from agriculture. It's not only agriculture, so food production is something.
No, I mean when you take, for example, the national initiative for human development. It's a strategy which could be based on other things than agriculture, of course. For example, yes?
But it is a strategy that it was designed for human development, for poverty reduction. It's not a strategy, that was.
No, no. When you fight poverty, and all the initiative for human development, it's based on to generate revenue, and for me, when you generate revenue, you are trying to find solution to food security. That's right or no?
Yes,
this is my point of view.
I fully agree, because we said at the beginning, in fact, that food economic accessibility is one of the pillars of food security. So before ending our digital workshop, I would like to know if there is any take-home message that we want to convey to the different participants to this workshop. So is there anything that you want to add?
No, just I would like a little bit to talk about my NGO, which is a national NGO working in all Morocco. Yes. And we focused on rural women. I think because why? Because we found that rural women are really they learn as easily, and it's easy to work with them. And our work is based on education and also a valorization of local products, and I think and mainly and also on capacity building. And I think any strategy should be, for me, based on this point, and also organization of population, to give them more power and to let them more, to give them more negotiation power and so on. And I think with this policy, that Morocco is leader in this with many female cooperatives in many fields, and mainly in what we call local produits terroir. I mean local agricultural products. And this is my message.
Okay, thank you. So I give the floor now to Dr. Cinzia Scaffidi for the last message. Take home message.
Yes, maybe we could just enlighten one thing, because we are discussing of food security, of education, consumers, and innovation. So when we come on this, we have to remember that first of all, innovation must be felt as a need before. I mean, the dialogue between agriculture and research, between farming and research, is a very delicate and interesting dialogue. But we have to go back to who is orienting who. Farmers are in the possibility of orient the research in order to ask to the research the innovation they need, and then the research will study that, and after that there will be a market made by those farmers that will be able to use that innovation, or innovation research is oriented by the market, and they will come later to the farmer saying, okay, we have discovered this, so stop doing as you were doing before and start doing this one, because this is the main point. And the second is about consumer and information. If we are on food security and food sovereignty, the point is how much the consumer knows about his food, about the food they're buying. If we do not protect the possibility of being informed, we are somehow threatening the mechanism of food democracy that is actually on, because we delegate producers, we delegate to produce our food, and in order to be able to confirm this delegation, we have to know what they have done in our name, what they have done. So we must be informed. The food we buy must talk with us. This is why I just mentioned in few words one more project of Slow Food, which are what we call the narrative labels in which consumers can learn many things about their food. They can know which kind of agricultural choice have been done for producing that food, how the animals have been treated, what they have eaten, where the ingredients have been cultivated, the origin of the ingredients, and so on. So all these issues that seem to be issue for I mean, kind of optional issue. Once you have enough money, you can deal with labels. This is absolutely wrong. The information issue is linked to the food security and the food sovereignty very strictly.
I fully agree. Thank you very much, Dr. Cinzia Scaffidi, for this further insight regarding the linkages between farmers and research, and also regarding food-related information. Before closing our digital workshop, I would like to give the floor to my colleague Irene for an announcement. Irene, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Hamid. I would like to thank you on behalf of the MedSpring project, Hamid and Bilali, for chairing this digital workshop from the CIHEAM-IAMB Institute in Bari. I would like to thank you, Cinzia Scaffidi from Slow Food Italy, and also Saadia Zrira from the Hassan Second University in Morocco, for sharing your views with us. Actually, MedSpring project, the MedSpring project is trying to develop new avenues in order to collect and share views with civil society, researchers, and to a certain extent to broaden the debate on issues, on important issues as food and food security. The third speaker Miguel Silva from the center, from the North-South Center of the Council of Europe, couldn't make it for technical problems, so we couldn't hear his views and share his views during this digital workshop, but we would like to remind you that the North-South Center of the Council of Europe is actually organizing the Global Education Week 2014 around the issue of food security. And we think as a project, it's actually important to establish this link between food and education. So I hope that we can establish productive connection with you all, and that you can follow our activities in the next year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Irene. I would like once again, to thank the expert that participated to this digital workshop, and also all people and colleagues and friends that followed us online. Thank you very much, and hope to see you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye. So, thank you.
Ciao.